Okay. Welcome everybody today to our COVID-19 Adults and Teens piano lesson. This is our 8th lesson. Can you believe that? 8 weeks together at the piano. We've been having a lot of fun. I'm so glad that you could join me today. Well, first things first, let's go ahead and, if you can, hit the share button at the bottom corner of your screen, letting everybody know that it's time for piano today. The second thing is please, if you can, go to YouTube and subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can search Izzy Chia. The third thing is, if you haven't already, go ahead and join our private Facebook group. It's called Encore Music Makers, and join our bustling community of piano learners where you get feedback from me and really good encouragement from your fellow learners. And of course, the last thing is if you haven't purchased your book yet, I highly recommend that you do so. It's going to be kind of tough to follow along when you don't have the music. So if you can put your order in, then you will be in really good shape. Okay? All right, well, I am very excited. The first thing we're going to do today is look over our week 7 songs and see how we did, okay? So let's do that. Go ahead and take out your book. All right, and we're going to turn to page 37, okay? Last week we learned the song called Miriam, okay? Let's see. Perfect, there it is. Miriam. Okay, and this one, as a quick review, this was when we were introducing B with our right hand, right? That was our G7 chord, all right? So if you've got good practice going on this one, let's see if we can play through together, okay? Let's switch. Wonderful. All right, so for Miriam, we're gonna start in a C position. All right, I have my right hand thumb on C. I'll count down, and I've got my left hand thumb on G below middle C, okay? This piece begins with our left hand on a finger 3 on E, and it is a mezzo forte. We also have 4/4 time, so we're counting to 4 in each measure. It's moderately fast with no repeats, okay? If you're ready, let's get started. I will count off. 1, 2, ready, play. 2, That was pretty wonderful. You got through 4 lines of music, so give yourself a pat on the back. That was awesome. I'm pretty impressed with you guys keeping up with me every single week. You know, these songs build on the week prior, so they get a little bit trickier every single week. So if you managed to get through Marianne, great work. All right, let's see if we can continue. Okay, we are going to go over our second song from last week, and we had learned Rockets. Okay, now Rockets is on page 40. All right, there it is. So on page 40 we had Rockets, and the cool thing about Rockets is it had 2 new things that we had in it. We had a new time signature. That was the time signature of 3/4 time. And if you remember, that means that we're going to be only counting to 3 in each measure versus 4, okay? The second new thing that we learned was the new note of the dotted half note, right? And the dotted half note gets 3 beats total, okay? So when you come across a dotted half note, make sure to hold it down for 3 whole beats, okay? All right, so Rockets was super cool. I know we had also talked about playing it through 3 times with the different octave jumps each time, right? We're supposed to sort of be emulating an actual rocket blasting off into space, right? So we start here on the Earth and we blast off a little bit and then we blast off again, and then for the final push we exit Earth's orbit, okay? So let's play it through 3 times with those different octave changes, okay? Let's switch. Okay, so we are here in C position, all right? I've got my right hand thumb on C. I have found my left hand spot, and I am ready to play. Couple things to remember. This is going to be a forte, okay? Which means we're going to play this loud because rockets, of course, are loud, right? We also have 3 beats a measure, so we need to be very cognizant of that, okay? We also have our G7 chord in our left hand, all right? So I'm going to play it through 3 times. See if you can keep up with me, okay? Let's count off. 1, 2, 3, ready, and play. Okay, here's the repeat. Shifting up. And here's the third repeat. I'm staying here. Going up an octave. There we go. We have exited Earth's orbit. Now that was fun. Did you enjoy playing on all those different octaves? Yeah, it's actually really, really cool to be able to explore this upper half of the keyboard, right? Yes, so great, great work this past week. You have officially passed your songs. So give yourself a cheer. Let's do maybe a cha-cha-cha. 1, 2, cha-cha-cha. 1, 2, cha-cha-cha. 1, 2, cha-cha-cha. Okay, that was great. All right, well, if we have passed our songs, let's go ahead and introduce some new songs for this week, okay? All right. So the first thing we're going to talk about is going to be on page 42. Okay, everyone turn to page 42. Let me show you what it looks like. Yes. All right, it says slurs and legato playing and has a new song on there. Okay. All right, so at the top of 42, looks like we're going to be learning a new musical term, okay? This is going to be referring to the articulation or how we play our music, okay? It says at the top there, a slur is a curved line over or under notes on different lines or spaces. And let's talk about what a slur does to those notes. It says, slurs mean to play legato, or smoothly connected, okay? Legato is an Italian musical term, okay? Can you say that word? Legato. Good. So legato means you're going to play everything smoothly, right? So if I envision music, right? If I'm going to play it smooth, I want you to think about like a long ribbon, okay? It's nice and smooth, right? When you play, it's going to be as if the music is starting at that first note there at the end of the ribbon, and you're playing smoothly all the way across to the other end of that ribbon, right? You don't want to break the ribbon. You don't want to pick a pair of scissors just going chop and chopping that phrase, right? Because that's what slurs do. Slurs create musical sentences or musical phrases. And in order for us to get that entire thought across in music, we have to be able to convey that in our musical style, okay? I hope you understood that. Let's talk about how we actually do that at the piano though, okay? Okay, so it's gonna get a little technical, but let's see if we can work on it together, okay? So what you'll do is you're gonna play a note. In this case, I'm just gonna play a finger 1 on C, right hand, and I'm gonna leave it down, okay? I'm gonna leave it held down until I play the next note in the musical phrase. It's kind of like super glue, right? It's stuck. So the only way to get it unstuck is to press your finger 2 or my D down, and then I can lift up my thumb off of C, okay? But now I'm stuck on D, right? So in order to unstick the D, I have to play the next note in the phrase. In this case, I'm going to play an E. Now I can lift my finger 2, right? Are we understanding that? It's a little bit tricky. I think it might make a little bit more sense when I switch to piano view. Let's see if we can watch that, okay? I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to start here with the finger 1 on C, and I'm going to press it down. And the only thing that I can do to lift it is to play the next note in the phrase. So take a look. This is considered slurred or legato playing. Listen carefully. Did you hear that? Every single note was connected in that phrase in order to get the entire musical thought or sentence across, okay? Now, to contrast, listen again while I play the exact same line separate, okay? Hear each note separately. Take a listen. Did you hear how each and every note was separated? Yeah, it's not the same, right? The musical thought was interrupted by silence. In order to combat that, we have to be able to communicate that musical phrase across the entire slur, okay? Now, you can have slurs between just 2 notes, like mini slurs, or multiple notes across a phrase, okay? It's just this in the sound, in the articulation of those notes, that we have to be able to communicate the difference, okay? Now, let's see if we can put that into practice by learning our next song. It is called What Can I Share? Okay? It's on page 42. Let's see if we can learn this song and be able to communicate that slur or legato playing in our left hand, because it looks like the left hand is going to be the hand that communicates our musical thoughts, okay? The right hand in this case, I see chords. I see a C major chord. I see a G7 chord. And they're sort of in there sporadically throughout the first 2 lines, okay? Now, when you get to line 3 and 4, they switch. So they want to make sure that we're working both hands and both sides of our brain, right? In order to be able to switch the melodic line to the right hand and then have the chords in the left, okay? We're going to go through this slowly, okay? Let's switch to piano view. Okay, so page 42, we have What Can I Share? I'm going to begin in C position, okay? And I'm going to play through this song very slowly so that you're able to follow along in your music, okay? It begins with a finger 3, left hand on E, okay? Now, I will count off 3 beats, okay? And we will play through this song, okay? 1, 2, 3, ready, and play. G7, up to E, C major. That was nice. Slur up down to C. D, G7, back to C, C major. Now we switch hands. Down to C. Notice I'm not lifting my hand. And E. Now we lift. E, F, G, down to C. Then up to D. Back to C. And a tie to end. Yeah. So what do you think? That was definitely hard, wasn't it? It is supposed to challenge you just enough to want to be able to keep those mini challenges going. It's just enough to give you something to work on, but not enough to like push you over the edge, right? Because we don't want to do that. We want to make sure that our progress is incremental and building on week by week, okay? Now, things to look out for this song. I would definitely say it might be smart of you to start this practice on this song hands apart, okay? And that means starting perhaps with the left hand. You play the whole song just the left hand. And then you practice just the right hand by itself. The whole song just to see how it goes, right? When you feel confident about your hands being played separately, then you can start trying to put the whole song together with both your hands, okay? This might take some work, and it might take a little bit of extra time. As we progress in these books, the songs get harder, and they take a little bit longer time to learn. Sometimes you have a song that lasts 2 weeks. Other times you have a song that may last 3 weeks. It just depends on how tricky it is for you. But remember, the more time that you dedicate to your piano practice, the more quickly you will learn these skills in these songs, okay? So let's play through What Can I Share once more, okay? Listen carefully if it's a little tough to play along, or perhaps just play along with your left hand or your right hand, whichever you're most comfortable with, okay? I am in C position at this point. I'm going to begin with my left hand, legato playing, finger 3 on E, 3/4 time. All right, let's give it a try. 1, 2, 3, ready, and play. Up to D, up to E, down to C, up to D, back to C. Switch hands. E, F, G, down to C. D, up to E. E, F, G, C. Up to D. Back to C. And a tie note in your right hand. 2, 3. Yeah, a little bit at a time. It's going to get easier as you put that practice in, okay? All right, I'm very happy that we were able to learn about slurs and legato today. But that's not it. We have more to learn. So we got to wrap this up, right? Okay, let's go ahead and turn the page. We're going to turn to page 45, okay? Page 45. All right. Excellent. Now on page 45, you will notice a new song, right? We have the song When the Saints Go Marching In, okay? This song is a tricky song, I'm not going to lie, but I believe that you can learn it, okay? Now, look a little bit further back on page 44, okay? We have a new note that we're going to be adding to our staff, okay? Specifically, in the left hand, we're going to be adding A in your left hand, okay? Now, if you put your left hand in your regular C position, you will notice that an A on the bass staff is going to be used with the finger 1, which is your thumb, stretching it up 1 note from G. Okay? That's the new note, the A. Okay? Now, there's a practice line of music right there at the top of 44. Well, kind of in the middle of 44. I'm going to see if we can play through that practice line. Okay? Notice we have finger 1 on both G and A. Okay, so don't let it surprise you. Make a note of it, okay? All right, let's switch to piano view. And you can take a look how that practice line sounds, okay? I'm going to count off. 1, 2, ready, play. C, E, G. Hold, down to C, F, A. Hold, back to C, E, G. Hold, and C, F, A. Hold. Yeah, it does have a repeat, but I'm not going to play through it. So what'd you think about that, huh? Yeah, it's interesting. An easy way for me to remember it is they call this the F major chord, okay? And the reason why they call it that is because your finger 2, left hand, is going to be playing your F, okay? And those notes that consist of the F chord are F, A, C. But in order for it to be a little bit easier for our left hand to play it when it's in C position, we pretty much put the C on the bottom, okay? And that's that finger 5 that we're very used to playing. So it ends up being C, F, A, right? Now, if you think of C, F, A, what's something pretty popular that starts with C, F, A? I just think of Chick-fil-A. Maybe I'm hungry. That's okay. Chick-fil-A chord, you can call it that, right? So the regular C major chord we know is C, E, G. So let's play that one. 5, 3, 1. And then our C, F, A, F major chord, or the Chick-fil-A chord, is 5, 2, 1, with a 1 on an A. Okay? Wonderful. Okay. That was that little lesson on the F major chord. Now let's take a look at the song that I had initially mentioned. When the Saints Go Marching In. Now this is a very popular song, especially during Mardi Gras. It's a lot of fun to play, I will tell you that. And you're going to have a grand time learning this one, okay? It's kind of like a party song. So at the very top of 45, you will see that there's a warm-up line, okay? If you see that line there, you can play that as a warm-up with repeats before you practice your song, okay? I'm going to play through that very slowly, okay? 1, 2, ready, play. G7, back to C. Now your F major chord, back to C major, 2, 3, 4, repeat. G7, back to C major, and your F chord, back to C major. Yeah. All right, now that was pretty cool. Now, another thing to talk about when the Saints go marching in, there's a pink box there. It says incomplete measure, okay? Now, this isn't as complicated as it probably sounds, okay? Now, when you're looking at your time signature, in this case, this song is 4/4 time. We know that the top number is referring to the number of beats that belong in each measure. And that should be 4, right? But I want you to look at the very first measure of When the Saints Go Marching In. Let's count. 1 quarter note, 2 quarter notes, 3 quarter notes. There's only 3. So where's the missing beat? I'll give you a hint. Look at the end. The very last measure of When the Saints Go Marching In only has 1 beat. So when you do the repeat, you add them together. 1 plus 3 is 4. So there you go. That's the incomplete measure, right? You will come across incomplete measures when you think of songs like that have pickup notes to the beginning, right? If you think of that song, She'll Be Coming Round the Mountain, that part where it starts, she'll be coming round the mountain when she comes, right? Yeah, so the she'll be part is your incomplete measure to the beginning part of that song. Whereas this one, oh, when the, right? The first three notes are the incomplete measure part to this piece, okay? Hopefully that makes sense. Now, let's get to some playing going on, okay? So When the Saints Go Marching In is a C position song. Switch to piano view. And we're going to play through this song. It's nice and forte. It's a march. It needs to be nice and even. We have tied notes. We also have 4/4 time like we talked about before. And we have the incomplete measure. So let's give it a try, okay? I'm going to count off 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, now you can see how tricky this song will be, huh? I promise you, you'll be able to play it with some really good practice, okay? Remember what I said about our other song, right? What can I share? That one, if you start just like, or this one, if you start just like that one, learning hands apart, it will come to you much more easily, okay? Start with just the right hand if you need to. Go over the melody line, okay? Because that's where the melody is living. You'll also notice that there weren't any slurs in this song. What do we have instead of slurs? We had tied notes. Yeah, ties are different than slurs, right? Ties add up the value of the notes when they're on the same line or space, right? Slurs connect different notes across a musical phrase. Remember that, okay? All right, another thing to remember. On the third line, at the very end, the last measure of the third line, there's your F chord, right? Just think Chick-fil-A and you'll remember it, okay? CFA, 5-2-1, all right? And it does have a repeat so that you get that full effect of the incomplete measure coming together and being a complete measure, okay? Now, I'm not going to play through this one again because it's quite long, but remember, if you need extra help, hop into the private group, ask a question. I'm there all the time listening and waiting to hear from my students so I can help, right? I also have practice with me on Mondays. So if you can join me on Monday, I promise you we will work extra hard on these difficult passages, okay? I'm proud of you guys. You're doing so wonderfully. Give yourselves a hand. It's hard to learn the piano. People think it's so easy, but it's really not. It's pretty hard. All right. Now that's it for the playing portion of our lesson. But let's talk a little bit about theory, okay? Now, turn to page 43 in your book. Okay, so on page 43, this is going to be a page of theory that you're going to do. Okay? It talks about slurs and ties and the difference between them, right? I want you to work on that page. So circle page 43. Also, turn to page 48. Okay? 48. 48, you have the F major chord for the left hand. Yeah, we learned about that today, didn't we? So you're going to do some chord naming in there so that you can be able to tell the difference between a C major chord, a G7 chord, and an F chord. Okay? Very good. I'm very, very happy to be able to teach you that today. All right? Now, I'm accepting tips. If you happen to find a little bit of room in your wallet to help support me in these lessons that I'm giving for free, why not give me a little tip? I accept PayPal. My email is encoremusichtx@gmail.com. I also accept Venmo. My username is Izzy Chia. And I accept Cash App. My username is IZZI3CH3A. Okay, thanks for letting me say that. And of course, last but not least, we always end our lessons with a music quote. Okay, so let's take a look at today's quote. Oh yes, okay, so this is a good one. This quote today comes from John Logan, and this is what he says. Music is the medicine of the mind. That's true, right? Sometimes when we're not quite feeling ourselves, or we're feeling sad or depressed or frustrated or nostalgic, we can turn on a song and that helps us feel a little bit better. Yeah. I always have a lot of good memories with different types of songs and different types of music, right? I bet you do too. Music is so special to us. Thanks so much for joining me for today's piano lesson. I'm very happy to bring you these every week. I will be taking a short break in June, but I will be back full force in July for my summer series. So don't worry. Next week, we still have lesson number 9, and the week after that, we have lesson 10, and then I'll take my break. Okay? I'm so glad that you were able to join me today. I will see you next time, okay? Have a good one.